Christophe, I'm LP Longmire with Movie Death Blows. Thank you so much for sitting down and speaking with me today.
Thank you to you.
The title Return to Silent Hills, it feels quite meta, not just for the character of James or for the audience returning, but particularly for you. What was it like, your journey returning back to the world of Silent Hill?
It was strange because I made the first one 20 years ago, and it was a work of passion because I have a real passion for the game and real passion for video game also. I'm a big film buff, and as you can see behind me, that's my film history library, and it's a big one. I can
Oh,
see.
wow, look at that.
Yeah, so I'm big fan of cinema, but I realized, in '95 that video game will be part of the future of the cinema. That's what I believed. And with my producer, we acquired the rights of Silent Hill very soon and very early. And we decided to do this film in 2006, and the passion stay, and I always wanted to adapt Silent Hill 2. That was originally my intention in 2006, but the film, I mean, the story of Silent Hill 2 is pretty special because it's not only about Silent Hill, this strange town, with changing of shape, but it's also about the broken mind of
Mm.
the character. And we realize when we are playing that basically we are playing, into his own hallucination. So it was maybe a too big chunk to swallow for a film back in 2006. If you remember well, the horror genre in 2006 were all about jump scare.
Mm.
It was not about story; it was about jump scare. And Silent Hill had the pretension to be more a nightmare than a jump scare movie. And we were very happy that the first movie worked so well. And I was just waiting the right time to go back to Silent Hill. My intention to go back to Silent Hill never left me. And recently, I had a lot of good surprise in the horror film genre. With a movie like Midsommar and It Follows, and more recently, Bring Her Back. Which is an admirable movie. I thought to myself, okay, that's time. That's the time now to go back to the genre with a story which has the sophistication that I think the people who love horror film want to see. They, it's okay. The jump scare now is behind us. Now they want something more disturbing and more sophisticated. And I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that the the people who love horror film are so interesting today.
The technology has changed so much in the last 20 years. I mean, how different was the filming experience from 2006 to now?
In fact, I use the new technology just to not repeat myself, and because that was my fear. That was
Yeah.
my fear, and I think that many of fans of the first film will have been disappointed if I have just repeated the first film. And um, and so I decide very early, for example, the first film was for me like a very operatic adaptation of the game. This one is much more organic. I use only a handheld camera and drones. For example, in the first film, I was constantly shooting the film with dolly and crane. In this one, I have not used crane. I was using drones as crane, which is very interesting. It gives a very different feeling. And also, I use virtual set a lot. Um, some people, for example, I read that some people think that I have shot a lot with green screen. Actually, no. I have shot in virtual sets. So actually, it was the sets were screened behind the actor in high definition. For
Oh,
example,
wow.
the workshop of James, all in glass and everything. It's actually a virtual set. You are on the set. We had only the chair and the painting of Mary. and all the rest is actually an high definition trompe l'œil, you know,
Mhm.
of the set. And I think it worked very fine. Nobody told me, oh, that set is doesn't exist, you know,
Yeah.
it's green. No, it's very interesting. That's the kind of new technology that I have used to make something that I hope feel different of the first film. Also, I was helped by the fact that the first film was shot in Toronto, and he has a very North American, flavor. And this one was shot in Serbia, and it was interesting to invite into the film some surreal touch from the East Europe, fantasy film, like Polanski's and old Czechoslovakian or Polish movie, Tarkovsky also, and I try to use that background, even if the action take place in a town supposed to be in America. I think that we feel that the atmosphere has something different. It comes from East Europe.
Wow. And I had the pleasure of speaking with Hannah and Evie right before speaking with you. And something that Evie said that I thought was really, really impressive. She said you storyboarded the entire movie. And I want to hear you speak about that. When you are in that process, obviously you're pulling from Silent Hill, but is there maybe other places you draw inspiration from when you're storyboarding?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm doing a film, I spend always 1 year, one complete year before to start the pre-production to put everything on storyboard and artwork. I'm almost working like an animator,
Yeah.
director, animation director. And because like that, I'm obsessed by detail, very much obsessed. And I'm a fetishist of cinema. And so I'm spending a lot of time to just establish a strange shot, strange angle, try to figure how we are going to obtain some angle by, for example, having a moving set, thing like that. I did that on the first one, for example, where on the first one, you have crane movement through the sets, and basically all the walls were moving, to let the crane cross the very tiny space, And I'm repeating everything on the paper before to go on the set. And like that on the set, I'm just focused on the actor directing and on the detail, So that's for me my way to work. It's long, it's sometimes a little, yeah. Some producers think that I'm I'm too
Yeah.
crazy on that, but that's my way to work, and like
Yeah.
that, I'm sure that at least the film will be unique and will feel different. Because if you decide if you delay your decision on the set, you have nothing. You have
Yeah.
nothing. You're constantly running after the time, and you are constantly making compromise. So I prefer to plan everything very carefully before. So it explains how the film look. You know,
Yeah.
it impress always the actor. Yeah, it impressed always the actor. I remember that A.V. Templeton was impressed by all this huge comic strip, because all the storyboard are on big boards on the set, and everybody is reading them, And yes, yes, they are very nice. It's not only crude storyboard; they are done by very big, important comic book artists in France, and they are beautiful. So it's always a pleasure to read that.
Well, Christoph, I think I'm out of time. Such an honor speaking to you, really, truly, as a big fan of yours, and congratulations on the movie. Thank you so much for your time, and wish you well in your future endeavors.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank